Deccan Herald. The state has finally voted in two phases. The second phase of polling ended this evening with 122 constituencies going to the polls in Simanchal region and the border districts north and south of Patna. The initial indications are that once again, in the second phase, we are seeing very good turnout, more than 67%, as the figures tell us, and which means that if the cumulative figure with 65% polling for 121 seats in the first phase, we are heading towards a record turnout for the Bihar State Assembly elections, which has been generally a shy low of under 60% over the last two and a half decades. To discuss all that and also the numbers from the exit polls, which are coming thick and fast, I'm being joined by my colleagues today from Bangalore, Ashish Pandey, who had traveled to Bihar for these elections. Joining me from our newsroom in Delhi is Shamin Joy, who covers the opposition parties. And also from Ahmedabad is Satish Jha, who had traveled not only for the current phase of elections, but ahead of the Bihar elections. He had extensively toured Bihar to look into the impact of the SIR, the Special Intensive Revision of the Electoral Rolls that was undertaken by the Election Commission. I'll go to Satish first because you have been there twice, especially during the SIR. Now, initially there was a lot of anxiety, questions about the SIR. So, do you see that cleaning or the scanning of the electoral rolls that could have been one of the reasons why we are seeing such good numbers? Because if the some of the electors are out, then obviously the denominator is reduced and the percentage would go up.
Satish is not here, Abhi. Uh,
Okay, I think we've lost Satish
yeah, yeah.
in the midst. Uh, I think I'll take that question to Ashish, who was also there in the north western parts of the state, Champaran. Satish, how do you see this very large turnout for the elections?
Uh, so, so I traveled to districts like both the Champarans, East and West, and Muzaffarpur and Gopalganj, Shivhar. So people were very enthusiastic about voting and all. That is first thing. They all said, "Yeah, we are going to vote," uh, which at f- at first it seemed like they are going to vote for change, but while when just entering in a discussion with them, it seemed that they are going to vote, but they are not going to vote for change, which is again we can see these numbers in the exit polls, but they are telling the more or less same story what I saw on ground, at least in those districts. And the record numbers generally are, in a democracy, generally are meant to that people are coming out to vote for a change. But I'll not be surprised if this theory falls flat on November 14th when the results are out, because somewhere this narrative of Jungle Raj has worked. I mean, the NDA has been successful in their messaging, in their campaign process, that if people are not going to vote for NDA, then there will be a Jungle Raj rule again in Bihar, which they actually relate that Jungle Raj to pre 2005 era. So this is my understanding as of now.
Well, Shamin, we've been speaking to a few political leaders over the last couple of days who returned to Delhi after a very hectic campaign for over 1.5, 2 months. And some of them also seem to suggest that one thing which SIR probably did was that it's sort of, I mean, they wouldn't call it anxiety, but it certainly did prod people to go out and cast their vote and exercise their franchise because, I mean, some people feared that if they don't do it, then probably, in the next course correction, whenever it happens, they may stand to lose I mean, their names may also be struck off from the electoral rolls. So they wanted to register themselves as the entire exercise. Also, the polling itself became an instrument for them to register themselves as voters, so that it gives them legitimacy as a voter. Losing your franchise, it's something for for an urban middle class constituency may not matter much, but for the rural folk, for the population who derive their identity and also their strength, political strength from the vote that they carry, I think that that seems to be the understanding in the some sections of the political class, isn't it?
Yeah, see, in the first phase, it was 65.08 percentage of polling, and right now the figures are being updated by the Election Commission for the second phase, which shows right now it is 68.82%. So cumulatively, it may come around 67%, 68% somewhere, and like final figures we will get once the polling figures are out. See, conventional wisdom says that whenever there is an increase in polling percentage, there will be change. I won't hazard a
But this
guess
is a
at
very
this point.
different election, Shamin. We
Exactly,
are see,
exactly.
I mean, how
That
many
is what.
times has especially intensive review of the electoral rolls been done in the post-independence history of India?
Yeah, that is what I'm getting at. See, conventionally, that is the theory which we say that whenever there are a lot of more voter people vote, there will be change. But we don't know what is that situation right now in Bihar because we have to wait. I'll leave it to the wisdom of the people, the voters, which we will come to know on November 14th. The point you raised about SIR, I mean, let's see. This time, all political parties, not just the opposition parties, the allies of NDA, BJP, JDU leaders that are also talking about a more enhanced awareness about voting. See, what the SIR did was that they created more awareness about voting, the right to vote. Like you said, there were apprehensions, especially among the migrant voters, the minority voters, that if you don't vote this time, you may lose your chance to vote next time. That it is sort of like cleaning exercise where only people who vote get to vote the next time. So
In a way, you're trying to
these
register yourself as a bona fide
as
voter.
second thing, what the opposition parties are saying is about uh, the number, the increased percentage of polling is basically because of the reduced electorate. They are getting into that mathematical calculation of earlier there was 7.89 crore voters, now it has come down to 7.45
So the
crore
denominator
voters
has
and all.
come down, so the percentage
The
will go
denominator.
up.
So that also has added to this percentage. But like if you see the absolute numbers, there is a lot of, there is an increase in thousands of votes. I mean, like a large number, tens of thousands of people more have voted this time.
Okay. Yes, I mean, thanks. So we'll come to the numbers that we are getting now. But in this, even in this enhanced percentage, we see there are some areas of Simanchal like Kishanganj, which has very high density of Muslim population. We see that the polling percentage seems to be crossing almost 70% now. Probably Kishanganj, Aradia, Purnia, and some of the adjoining districts, Katihar, may register the highest polling percentage in these elections. Coming back to uh, the numbers that the pollsters and psephologists have come up with post the elections. Now, from the US to India, we've seen the exit polls fall flat on their face on multiple occasions in the past and also in the recent history of the elections in India. But most of the exit polls, as we see now, seems to be indicating towards a trend that the NDA, JDU, BJP, and its allies combined are heading towards a majority. They're getting a simple majority. Some people are saying that they may get two-thirds majority. I think the best results being predicted for them is a three-fourths majority. I think Praja polls has given them around 184 to 209 seats, only 32 to 49, 50 seats to the India bloc. I think we have Satish now with us. Satish, if you can hear me, the numbers that we sort of the exit poll, although it's early days yet, and we take it with a
Yes.
pinch of salt. But how do you see these numbers? I mean, do they in some way reflect what you saw on the ground, or you think that probably there is still, the numbers could be different when the electoral machines are finally open?
Uh, this at the moment looks little exaggerated, because this was not at all what we saw on the ground, and because the numbers show that there was a wave for NDA, which wasn't the case. I mean, personally, I saw the contest very close between these two allies. I mean, two coalition, and because so what I think people were talking more about Prashant Kishore phenomena than NDA or Mahagathbandhan, uh, wherever we went. And I think another point that I saw was NDA and Mahagathbandhan, their core supporters were almost intact. And there was no, those couple of percent that actually makes the difference. They were not that vocal to show that this can be the result, ultimate result, like like NDA sweeping the polls. So I don't think, in my experience, I didn't see all this.
Okay, you see a very close contest.
Yes.
You raised this point of Jan Suraj, which has been a very interesting phenomena in Bihar elections. So in the last 10, 15 years, we have seen emergence of the insurgent parties, the new kids on the block, or what you call as the outsiders who have tried to get into politics. It started with the Aam Aadmi Party. It has happened in other countries also, Italy, Spain, um, and many other European, Western European countries. Uh, in India, it started with Aam Aadmi Party, and they did well in Delhi. Jan Suraj, for that matter, tried to make those inroads in Bihar. Ashish, what's your assessment of Jan Suraj as a political party? One thing which I found very interesting about Jan Suraj, two things, in fact. Uh, One, I mean, if you speak to about Jan Suraj, people they talk about Jan Suraj as a brand, Prashant Kishore as a brand. But if you ask them what's the election symbol, they won't be able to tell you. I mean, how many people know, even in this discussion, what is their election symbol? So Prashant Kishore as a brand may have been established, because in elections, the elections, even somebody like Prime Minister, when he does a roadshow in Patna, he's holding that lotus symbol in his hand. It's not that people don't know BJP, but in the coalition politics where JDU is contesting half the number of seats, and where JDU voters are expected to transfer their votes, he's basically telling them that we are your alliance partner. So wherever you don't find that arrow or tir on in that voting machine, it's the lotus symbol that you have to look at. In Prashant Kishore's case, we saw Prashant Kishore as a brand, but Jan Suraj party as a brand. But I didn't see the symbol bag, school bag registering, as probably was the case with Arvind Kejriwal's jharu, broom, earlier. So, what has been your understanding of Prashant Kishore's party? I
So
mean,
very
there was a
interestingly,
lot of
I
interest,
yeah,
obviously.
very interestingly, I reached to the spot from where he started his first Padyatra. That was Gandhi Ashram in Bhitiarwa in the district of West Champaran. And I found a couple of, I think, fishermen. They were actually sewing their fishing nets, and I just asked them about their understanding of Jan Suraj and Prashant Kishore. Uh, they just didn't know anything about him. They have heard the name for sure because he has been the talk of the town in Bihar in these elections. They have heard his name, but they didn't know who is the candidate, and they had no background of like, even if they want to vote for Jan Suraj, you're right, they didn't know the symbol. And they said, we have heard him. So in the age of social media, every leader is there, and every leader is there in everyone's mobile phone. They have heard him for sure, but they said, uh, ये बहुत मीठा बोलता है. So like it was difficult for them to believe that what he is saying can actually be translated into the governance and the government work. So that was their assessment. And yes, I mean, it is, I also wrote about it, that it's just an idea which is still like waiting for its time to bloom. at this moment in Bihar. And I met a couple of people in Gopalganj. They were pretty much optimistic about Prashant Kishore, and one of them went ahead and said, "He Prashant Kishore option nahi hai, Prashant Kishore he option hai." And there were a few more who spoke in same tone and same in some other words. But yes, he is probably he in all his political engagements he has said keep first chunav is just to contest, and then second election is to lose, and third is to win. Maybe he's working on that plan.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's
in
some
these
of the
elections,
jargons that, yeah,
in
some of the
these
jargons
elections,
that we see old political
yeah,
leaders,
I have
Kashiram used to say.
I have one question for you, Sumit. So you traveled in Simanchal, and the theory floated in last elections were that what BJP tried to do with Nitish Kumar through Chirag Paswan, the kind of dent he made in JDU's camp, they tried to balance out that through OSC in Simanchal area, which that was the theory that was floated in Delhi circles in 2020 elections. How about like, so what is going to, like, what is your assessment this time? Like, what is OIC and its political outfit AIMM will be doing this time in the, how are they going to perform in these elections in that particular region?
See, Mr. Owaisi started his political journey in Simanchal in 15. They lost deposit in all the seats except for one, I think. They picked up, I think, the important inflection point was 2019 one bypoll which they won in Kishanganj. Uh, they were able to make inroads in that region in the last elections. But this time around, though he has been camping there for almost 2 weeks now, I mean, he arrived there on 27th, and from there onwards, I think he was constantly posted there, campaigning, going about in various constituencies. There are 22 constituencies in Simanchal, including 4 in Kishanganj. But the time I was there, not just ahead of the polling, that was a fortnight ahead of the elections, I thought that there was a larger consolidation happening as vis-a-vis the last time towards Mahagathbandhan, because the messaging from the Congress and its allies was that any division in the minority votes is going to damage the larger political interest of the India Bloc. And that alternative, Mr. Owaisi will not be able to provide. Secondly, Congress and the allies, what they had done was, especially Congress, they were banking also on not just the minority votes, but in Purnia Pappu Yadav, the independent MP, he was sort of in charge of the entire 22 seats. So together they were trying to pull in as much numbers as they could. But the general feeling one was that probably the AIMIM has seen its peak in the Simanchal region in 2020, and it has to the intensity is much lower than it was the last time. So in first past the post system, when the votes get divided between 3 or 4 contestants, you can't say who exactly is going to win. But that intensity was certainly less than what we witnessed in 2020, the last time around. Having said that, I think we're running short of time. One last question to Shamin, if you would want to answer that. Uh, this entire campaign about the India bloc, they started with SIR. They somewhere it went to vote chori. Then there was a lot of trouble in the alliance getting everybody on board. In retrospect, when you speak to Congress leaders, do you get a sense that probably this could have been managed better had they stuck to one particular theme, say unemployment or something like that, right from the beginning? There was no coherence probably in the campaign.
That's true. I mean, like, unity was an issue, campaign team was an issue. See, after September 1 till October 23rd or 24th, we didn't see any opposition campaign or opposition building a narrative. See, during the Lok Sabha election, we saw the opposition unitedly raising a narrative. See, in the second fortnight of August, from August 17 to September 1st, they had a water Adhikar Yatra where they raised this vote chori issue and all. But like in the vote chori campaign also, what happened was that they did not weave in other issues like unemployment or law and order issues and other issues, even other political issues into the campaign thing. It was only vote chori. In between, towards the end, there was some sort of discussions. See, actually, it is Jan Suraaj party which has raised this issue of unemployment and all strongly than the India group. Then they lost almost 2 months to infighting, sharing negotiations, and who will be the CM, why Congress was not moving ahead to announce or support Tejashwi's bid for chief minister, being the chief ministerial phase. A lot of things happened. There was a one-upmanship in the camp also. I mean, like, so if the results comes resembling that of the exit polls, I won't be surprised because on the campaign front, there was no unity. After October 29 was the first time Rahul Gandhi and Tejashwi Yadav came together on a joint platform during the campaign. We didn't see anything like that after that. Okay, sure. Tejashwi had joint rallies with Mukesh Sahni and all. Similarly, Rahul Gandhi also had. But we didn't see more of a Tejashwi or and Rahul coming together like what we saw during the Uttar Pradesh election. Sorry, Lok Sabha elections in Uttar Pradesh when Rahul and Akhilesh Yadav used to go together to rallies, share dais and all. So unity was a big issue. Campaign thing, narrative also, even though they raised these issues, but like it was not coherent. That is what I feel. So I won't be surprised if India Bloc doesn't perform well. If they perform well, that will be magic.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shamin, for speaking on that. Thanks again to Ashish for joining us and Satish from Ahmedabad. That's all we have in today's edition on this special coverage of Bihar elections. On the counting day, that is the 14th of November, we will be updating you on the latest results, bringing you updates, and also we will come back to you with lots of analysis and try to interpret the impact of the outcome of Bihar elections, not only on the state politics, but what does it mean for the national politics in Delhi, and also probably to some extent whether it will have any impact on the Karnataka politics, where there has been a lot of talk about the November revolution. Thanks again for watching and good night.
Can I leave studio now?